Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. My name is Spencer, and, this is the podcast that you have found somehow. You have found it, and you said, you know what? I really want to hear this guy talk about the words in the American English Dictionary and in all of its glory. All the glory that is the dictionary. All right, let's talk about the first word in this episode. It is gearbox, one word, noun from 1887. Number one, the synonym is the number two definition for the word gearing, which is coming up very soon. Very soon. You don't have to wait long. The more I talk, the longer you have to wait. Number two, the synonym is the number three definition for the word transmission. This is the thing in the car that people say when it's broken, you gotta get a whole new transmission, and it's a big pain in the butt, a big job, and an expensive job. So you don't want to have to get a new transmission. I think I remember that there was an accident on the street, and a car hit a parked car, and the parked car slid 1 foot or 2 foot. The wheels didn't turn, so it was maybe that was bad for the transmission. I don't know. I have a memory of this. I don't know cars that well. But yeah, it has to do with the gears and all those things. Okay, well, that was gearbox. We'll learn a little bit more when we get to the word gearing. But I first need to make a sound effect, which is going to be ah. Oh, that was rather irritating. Maybe I can tone it down a little bit for the next one. The next word is gear change, one word. Now, gear change, do you hear some change for a gear? Noun from 1927. This is British, and the synonym is gear shift, which again, yes, we will see that very shortly. So in America, I guess you say gear shift. This is the thing that you're shifting the gears with. But in the Britain land, they like to call it a gear change because you're changing gears, and I guess we think that you're shifting gears. Who's right? We need to know who's right. This is very important to find out who is correct in this situation. Next we have gearhead, one word, noun from 1974. It is a person who pursues mechanical or technological interests, and examples of those technological or mechanical interests might be in automobiles or computers. I don't know if I've really heard people be described as gearheads who are interested in technology and computers. I get it, but usually when I hear this, I think of it definitely as vehicles, automobiles, bikes, motorcycle bikes or non-motorcycle bikes, those sorts of things that literally do have gears that are put together in some more mechanical way, and so that's what I hear of when I think. That's what I think of when I hear gearhead. I'm not a gearhead. I have enjoyed technology more than the mechanical stuff over the years, but that's a thing that I am not as interested in it as I used to be. And I think it's partly because it has gotten so advanced, and partly because I'm like, there's maybe not so much of that stuff, and maybe these other things. I don't know. Maybe I should become a gearhead interested in the mechanical pursuits, the mechanical interests. Should I learn that? We'll see. Gearing is next. Here we go. This was the synonym for gearbox, the number two. So this is a noun from 1833. Number one is the act or process of providing or fitting with gears. You gotta, if you got something that needs some gears, you're like, you know what? This really needs some gearing. It's not going to be practical in any way, shape, or form, but it looks pretty with all of these extra gears on it. Number two, the parts by which motion is transmitted from one portion of machinery to another, but especially a train of gears, all of those gears in a line. Maybe they're in a line. Maybe some are this way and some are perpendicular and some are, and you got to fit the teeth into each other. And so as you combine all of those, they call that a train of gears. So it's all of the parts by which motion is transmitted from one portion of machinery to another with the gears. There's a motor that starts this gear going over here, and then the teeth are interlocked with the teeth of another one, but it's a bigger one, and so that changes the speed of the motion, and there's a lot of gearing. I saw a video. I wonder if I can find it. If I can find it, I'll put it in the show notes. It was a video where somebody had it was all a whole Lego thing, motors and gears with Legos, and it was something about adding hundreds of these things together to slow down. It was so interesting to watch the process of it when you add another gear and add another gear and another gear and another gear, and it just slows down that process. And I don't really remember the purpose of it. What were they doing? These gears are spinning fast, and then the gear at the end is going so slow it's imperceptible to the human eye. And I think it was like, it's going to take hundreds of years for it to make one rotation, or I don't know what it was. But if I can find that video with Legos and gears, I will put it in the show notes. Okay, so that was all about gearing, and now we shall move to gear shift. Noun from circa 1924. A mechanism by which the transmission gears in a power transmission system are engaged and disengaged. We got to engage them and then sometimes disengage them because maybe you don't want to use so many gears. So is the idea that when you're going into a higher gear, you are adding more gears to the system? Maybe gear 1 has just these 2 gears going, and then when you shift into gear 2, then you've added maybe 2 more gears, and so the system is running more efficiently because there's more gears in place? Is that how it works, or is it just different size gears? Maybe they're not different shape gears. I just have no clue about what's going on in this gear shift transmission system. It's probably something I should learn about. The gear shift. It's the mechanism by which you are adjusting all of that. Okay. Next whiz, gear up, 2 words, intransitive verb from 1943. You know what I missed? I missed the very last part of gear shift. Also, a lever for controlling such a mechanism. So, inside of the vehicle is the gear shift. This is the thing that's doing the actual shifting. But then inside the car, you need this lever that sticks up from the floor, and then that's where you're controlling it. The human gets to control it from there. Okay, back to gear up. It is to get ready. That's it. The example is are gearing up for the big game. I feel like you could have added another word or two at the beginning, like they are gearing up for the big game. They're getting ready. Maybe if it's a big game, maybe they're watching the tapes of their old games and the other team's old games. See, how can we play better? How do they play? How can we adjust to play to their strengths and weaknesses? And they're doing the same thing. They're gearing up. They're getting ready. And then when they're done with all the watching of the tapes, they got to go practice these things. And then they got to literally gear up and put their gear on. Their shirts, their lederhosens, maybe some belts and suspenders, and maybe helmets and pads. You probably need pads depending on the game. Underwear pads. Okay, next, moving on to gear wheel. 1 word, noun from circa 1874. Gear wheel is, the synonym is the number 6A2 definition for the word gear, which was in the previous episode, which was 6A2 is a toothed wheel. That's it. So a gear wheel is also a gear with teeth. Okay, no more gear words. This word is either geat, or does that say gayet? Yeah, I think it says Gayet. Um, and it looks like there's another pronunciation, which is the Old English pronunciation. Which, why would you be giving me the Old English pronunciation in this context? Well, it comes from Old English, so that would be why. But the Old English pronunciation is, what is that? Yait? Yat? Yayit? Yayit. Something like that. But it has a Y sound. That is the important thing to know. A Y sound at the beginning. Okay, so this word, well, I'm going to use the first pronunciation, which is Geat, and it is spelled capital Geat. This is a noun from, obviously, before the 12th century, because this is Old English. It is a member of a Scandinavian people of southern Sweden, to which the legendary hero Beowulf belonged. Oh, yes, I have heard of Beowulf. I have seen one movie with Beowulf. And what was the other? Beowulf and something with a G. Oh, I can't remember. It's a funny word. It's an interesting. So yes, this is a very old story. And so this area in southern Sweden, Beowulf was a part of the character. I don't know if Beowulf was an actual person, but this person or character was from this southern part of Sweden, and I guess Beowulf would have been a Geat or a Gayet or a Yayet, because they were from that group of Scandinavian people. So, yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know. Do we need to put a link in the show notes for Beowulf? Beowulf and Geat? Maybe I should just look that up. Let's see. Beow. Yeah, ULF. Oh, Grendel. That was the other name. And Get going. Let's see. The Geats. Oh, also sometimes called Goths. Where did the rest of that information go? They were a large North Germanic tribe who inhabited Gotaland, the land of the Geats, in modern southern Sweden from antiquity until the late Middle Ages. So that was quite a long time ago. They were the late Middle Ages was 1300 to 1500. They are one of the progenitor groups of modern Swedes, along with the tribes of Swedes and Geats. The name of the Geats also lives on in the Swedish provinces of Västergötland and Östergötland, the western and eastern lands of the Geats, and in many other toponyms. So of course there's a whole lot of information about them. Hey, let's put a link in the show notes for these Geats or Gats. And so I guess was Old English being spoken there, or why? How did this get into Old English? Like, was it Old English? But it was Germanic. But there's connections, obviously. Okay, now Geatish. That is an adjective. Next, it's the word gecko. Let's just right off the bat, we got to say, let's post a picture of a gecko on the social media at dictionarypod. This is a noun from 1774. Any of numerous small, chiefly tropical and nocturnal insectivorous lizards. So they're lizards, they eat insects, they're awake at night, sleeping during the day, living in the tropical areas. They need all of that moisture in the air. And small, many of them. The family name is Geckonidae. Geckonidae. So the word gecko is at the start, but it has two Ks instead of a CK, which is how the word is spelled. But this family name, they decided to go with the double K, the very rare double K. Geckonidae. So this word is perhaps from the Malay dialect word Gekok. Don't know how they would have pronounced that, but it sort of looks like Gekok, and it has a question mark in the middle, or a portion of a question mark. So that means something pronunciation-wise in Malay, no clue what that is. If you are Malay or know Malay, then maybe you can send me a voicemail or an audio file of the proper pronunciation for gekok. Okay, moving on to gecko. I mean, what to say about gecko? I mean, obviously there's the very famous Geico gecko, who has a British accent for some reason. Are there a lot of geckos in England or Ireland, Great Britain in general, the United Kingdom? If you live there, can you please tell me, are there geckos? I would guess not, because they are tropical. So that's an interesting choice. Maybe the gecko should have spoken with a Malay accent, speaking English. Just a thought. Okay, moving on to, it's GED, all caps. This is the first form. Okay. This is a service mark, and it is used for educational testing services designed to provide a high school equivalency credential. And then quickly we will move on to the next one just to fill in this section. The second form of GED is an abbreviation which stands for General Equivalency Diploma. I guess my brain would want these to be switched. I would want the abbreviation to be first, and then the service mark after that to be second. So this is, if you can't finish high school, don't finish whatever reason, choose not to finish, have to quit, a variety of reasons why you wouldn't finish or graduate high school. And so then it's like, oh, well, maybe I can go get my GED to show that I have the equivalent knowledge that would have been taught in high school, and I know it. And so when I go to get a job, I can say, well, I didn't finish high school, but I did get my GED, which says that I know all the general same kind of stuff that they would have taught in high school, so I am good enough for this job. Thank you very much. Please give me money. GED. I wonder, if I didn't finish high school, if I stopped maybe after sophomore year, would I have passed the GED? I don't know. I just don't know. Would I pass it now? That's a good question. I'm so many years out of high school. It's pushing 30. How is it pushing 30 years that I've been out of high school? How is that even possible? Would I get a GED now? Would I have passed the test? Would I pass the test? I don't know. I would like to think so, but who knows? 30 years? 30? When I think about those things, it makes me go, All right, now we have a fun word. This is all one word. I'm going to tell you that first. I'm going to tell you first before I tell anybody else. This word is gedankenexperiment. Gedankenexperiment, but all one word, so it's gedankenexperiment. The first part is Gedanken, and then experiment. So what is this word? What is happening with this word, gedankenexperiment, which of course is very fun to say. It is a noun from 1941. It is an experiment. Well, that's what I figured. It is an experiment carried out in thought only. So you are not allowed to do this experiment in the lab, in the real world, in any way with physical things whatsoever. You are only allowed to do this experiment in your mind. You can only think about it. I get the idea, but I feel like it can't fully be an experiment, can it? If you're not doing some real world tests, because you're just being like, well, I think this might be what happened, but I feel like let's look up examples of gedanken experiments. No, I don't want you to give me Beowulf. Why would I be looking up gedankenex and then Beowulf? Gedanken experiments. So, and now here it shows it in two words, but then here it shows it as one word. So I don't know. But the reason I bring this up is, of course, because, well, maybe there are some experiments that you can do in thought only that you can totally do and figure it out. Or maybe they're just like, that's a fun thought experiment. By the way, there is a link specifically for thought experiment to the good old Wikipedia, so maybe I should put that into the show notes. But here are some examples. They use imagination to explore concepts like, you may have heard some of these, Schrodinger's cat, which it's all about the idea of, is the cat dead? Is the cat alive? You don't know until you open it. So while the box is closed, you're like, it could be either one. It's this quantum superposition thing. There's also Einstein's chasing a light beam, which is about relativity. The faster you go, the slower time goes, and can you get there? I don't know. Maxwell's demon, that's about thermodynamics. I don't know about that one. And then there's philosophical ones like the trolley problem, which is all about ethics. You've probably heard about the trolley problem. And then people have had a lot of fun with that. And then there is the ship of Theseus, which is about identity. And there was a really interesting description of this in that show. The show was called The Witch, the Scarlet Witch and the Guy, and I can't remember the full title. It was the Marvel show with the Scarlet Witch, but it was not. It was WandaVision. That's what it was. I looked it up and I found it. So there's a list of these and all these things. The Swamp Man, the Chinese Room. Anyway, interesting things. It's good to be like, whoa, this hurts my brain when I do a gedanken experiment. But why are we calling it gedanken? This is from the German word gedanke, which means thought. So that's literally what it is. It's just the German idea, the German word for thought experiment, gedanken experiment. There we go. Now we have the word G, spelled G-E-E. First form verb from 1628. This is a verb? Okay. It is used as a direction to turn to the right or move ahead. It says compare to the word haw, which would be the fifth form. Does that say 5? H-A-W. So I believe that this might be with planes, possibly. Do you G when you go to the right or move ahead? You're doing the action of, is that right? By the way, so that first part was the verb imperative. Imperative, I think so. It's a direction, like G the plane. But then we have intransitive, which is just to turn to the right side, the action of turning to the right side. So do I turn this way? Do I turn my whole body that way? Like how are we turning to the right side? Whatever it is, it has to do with the right for some reason. The origin is unknown. So I'm just going to look up, when would you use the word G when turning right? The plane is the only thing that makes sense to me. You use the word G as a voice command to direct a draft animal, like a horse, mule, or sled dog, to turn to the right, while haw tells them to turn left, often heard in farming, logging, or mushing for navigating equipment or sleds. It's a traditional command for leading teams of animals when reins aren't practical, helping them steer around obstacles or guide a plow. But where does it come from? This must be very old. Yes, it said it's from the 1600s, 400 years ago. Interesting. I'm glad I looked it up because I assumed it would have been planes. I know yaw is in planes, but that's different than haw, but it could have been similar. I don't know. So G is to the right and haw is to the left, which you should know when you have to steer, plow animals, mushing animals, horses, those sorts of things. Because I know that you're doing that all the time. So same with me. Wah! The second form of G is a noun from 1818. Number 1, the letter G. Number 2, this is slang, and it is $1,000 because the etymology is from the word grand. Grand. Oh, it's so grand when you give me a grand of dollars. A G. Wah! The third form of G is an interjection. Interjection from 1884. It is used as an introductory expletive or to express surprise or enthusiasm. Now, it says it's a euphemism for Jesus because it starts with G, the sound G, but it's spelled with a G, but Jesus is spelled with a J. So maybe it should be J-E-E and not G-E-E. These letters are very confusing. O-G. O-G. But also, because it's the letter G, it could also be, it's very connected to the word God as well. That's a hard G. But if you're like, God, G is the letter G, or G for Jesus, whatever you want to do is fine with me. Whatever meaning, whatever etymology you want to put to it is fine. An introductory expletive. I don't know what introductory, like an early one, a young one. Maybe it's okay for children to use this expletive. G. G. Or to express surprise or enthusiasm. Yeah, I mean, definitely. The young kids in the 50s were saying, gee. Gee whiz, that's coming up here in a little bit. Gee willikers. Does that stand for Jesus Willikers? Here's my neighbor, Jesus Willikers. All right, moving on to Now, I would probably want to pronounce this G-jaw, or maybe G-gaw. Ooh, I don't know. G-E-E-G-A-W. It is a variation of, I don't know, gewgaw? What is that word? I mean, that one's coming up in a little while. Ooh, longer than a little while. We got to go all the way to the G-E-W section. I just want to know how to pronounce this. Gewgaw. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Gewgaw. So sometimes people spell that with a double E at the start. Okay, next is geek. G-E-E-K. Noun from 1914. Number 1, a carnival performer often billed as a wild man whose act usually includes biting the head off of a live chicken or snake. I believe that I had heard of this maybe many years ago, but it was the relatively recent movie, or I should say the relatively recent remake of an old movie called Nightmare Alley, where they really talk about this word geek. This guy is a geek in the carnival for whatever reason. And what an odd job. What an interesting thing to be doing with your life, to be performing as a wild man, whatever that means. And you are so wild. How wild is he? He is so wild that he is willing to bite the head off of a chicken or a snake. Would Ozzy Osbourne have been considered a geek in this way? And wow, it is fascinating to see the etymology or the evolution of this word. So, well, we got to move on, obviously. I mean, that one just throws me for a loop. The fact that this job existed, this performer role existed. I mean, things were really crazy in carnivals, especially back in the day, so it's not that surprising. But to this modern day ear, hearing that described as a geek is very silly and strange to me. But of course, now I want to see an image or a video or something of, your very stereotypical nerdy geek acting as a wild man in a carnival and biting the heads off of chickens and snakes. So, number 2 is a person often of an intellectual bent who is disliked. I think what they mean by who they have an intellectual bent means that they are smart. Is that what you mean by that? But they are disliked. And this one gets into the I would say the middle of the 20th century, when my dad was young, and then, even later than that, when I was a child, it's somebody who's smart, but you don't like them, which is just an insane concept to me. If they're mean, sure. I dislike them. If you're mean, if you're very smart and mean, then you're gonna be disliked. But I just hate the idea. This is where things, geek and dweeb and nerd and all these words of, oh, they're very smart and we don't like them because they're not cool. They're what? Stupid, stupid, stupid. I don't like this. But then we get into number 3, which is an enthusiast or expert, especially in a technological field or activity, as in the example, computer geek. I mean, there are some people who are such computer geeks that they need to join forces with a whole bunch of other ones and create a squad. They created a whole squad of these computer geeks, and they called themselves the Nerd Brigade, or also the Geek Squad. So it doesn't have to be computer related, smarty pants related, intellectual in that way. I think that you could be a geek about anything. We also, I think, interchange this with nerd. What are you a nerd about? Well, I'm a nerd about football statistics or music or whatever it is. What are you a geek about? Are you a geek about a thing? Please feel free to send me an email, a voicemail, a message on the social media. Send me some stuff and be like, I am a geek about this thing. And why? Tell me why. What is it about that thing that you are such a geek about? If you are listening to this podcast, you might be a geek about words and etymology, but you probably know more than me, so why are you even checking this podcast out? You might just be a nerd of something else, and you just love it. You love it oh so much. It's your passion. I'm a geek of passion, a passion geek. Okay, geekdom, that is a noun, geekiness is a noun, and geeky is an adjective. This word, see, now we're getting to the old carnival performer. This is probably where the etymology comes from. It is probably from English dialect geek or geck, which means fool, and that's pretty much it. So that person was a fool. And they're so foolish for biting the heads off of chickens and snakes. It just grosses me out. And then it turned into, maybe this was a type of person in the carnival that people didn't really like, they were scared of, and then eventually it became somebody who was smart, also not liked, and then, like, what are you so smart about? What is the thing that you are smart about? You are a geek about that thing. Interesting evolution. One of the more fascinating ones that I can think of. Okay, moving on to geeked. Adjective from 1984. It is slang, and it is filled with excitement or enthusiasm. Oh man, I got so geeked when I went to the video store because I got to pick out any movie I wanted. I have such excitement and enthusiasm to pick out a movie. I'm so geeked right now. Now we have geese, which is the plural of goose. We haven't even talked about gooses yet. We had gander and geese, and later we'll have goose. We won't eat the goose. We'll talk about the goose. Next is gee whiz, 2 words with a hyphen. This is an adjective from 1934. Number 1, designed to arouse wonder or excitement, or to amplify the merits or significance of something, especially by the use of clever or sensational language. That was kind of a long definition. Designed? So this is the adjective. Okay, so it is designed to arouse wonder or excitement, or to amplify the merits or significance of something, especially by the use of clever or sensational language. But luckily, we have an example sentence. We have play-by-play specialists who wallow in gee whiz banality. That is a quote from Jack Gould. So The specialists who are given a play-by-play of the game, they wallow in gee whiz banality. Banal is like, it's just like meh, meh. So this banality is gee whiz because it's designed to arouse wonder or excitement. You're like, oh, maybe if something's not very interesting, it's banal. But then these play-by-play specialists can add like, oh, make it interesting, add some colorful commentary. Is that what it is? Designed to arouse wonder or excitement or to amplify the merits or significance of something, especially by the use of clever or sensational. Yep, that's absolutely what it is. You know, there's maybe during a basketball game, somebody is like saying all these crazy things about how somebody's playing in baskets and he's really heating up. Oh, I've heard of many of these phrases and I can't think of them right now, but they're so good at their use of special language that they make things sound maybe so much more exciting than it is, or they're just adding excitement to what's already there, and hearing their excitement maybe makes it so much more fun. So that's all about gee whiz as an adjective, like gee whiz banality. But we also have number 2, marked by spectacular or astonishing qualities or achievement, as in gee whiz technology. That technology is very spectacular and astonishing. Oh, what an achievement in that technology when you made a robot dog. Number 3, characterized by wide-eyed enthusiasm, excitement, and wonder. That's what it seems like. This word is really all about those 3 things: enthusiasm, excitement, and wonder. Ooh, gee whiz. Wowee, that's amazing. I have excitement. Woo. Okay. There is no etymology for this, which is interesting. Although, I don't know, whiz. And then G, was there anything about G? I mean, I guess it's the Jesus thing. Maybe. That's probably where it comes from. We were talking about that before. But now we have to move on to what? Gee whiz again, but this one is 2 words with no hyphen, and it is an interjection from 1876, and the synonym is the second form of the word gee. Now, wait a minute. Really? The second form? But that one, no, you got it wrong here, book. The interjection was the third form of gee, but it very clearly says a 2. I can even read that from here with my crappy eyes. Well, anyway, the third form of G, which was the interjection, was used as an introductory expletive or to express surprise or enthusiasm, like the child in the 50s. Maybe it was Dennis the Menace who would go, gee whiz, wow, I am surprised. I am so surprised it is making me say Jesus whiz. Jesus whiz. Oh no. What is that? That could go so many ways. New from the makers of Cheese Whiz, it's Jesus Whiz. Ugh. Okay, we got to move on from that. Why? We can't keep on thinking about Jesus Whiz. Stop thinking about Jesus Whiz and move on to G's. G-E-E-Z. All of those letters rhyme. G-E-E-Z. G-E-E-Z. This is a variation of G's with a J. Wah! Now we have G's again, but it has a capital G, and it is pronounced either Giez or Giez or Gayez. Those are all the 3 fantastic options. Well, I guess I'll just say Giez. This is a noun from 1790. It is a Semitic language formerly spoken in northern highland Ethiopia and still used as the liturgical language of the Christian church in Ethiopia, which is Ethiopia near the north? Oh, where is Ethiopia? Let's just go to the map and type in Ethiopia. Well, I do want to go to an Ethiopian restaurant. You are correct. Google Maps, but I just want to look at the country. Ethiopian food is very tasty. I like it quite a lot. No, it's not particularly in the north. It's in the northern half, but it's by the Horn. It's in the Horn of Africa on the right side, the east side, if you will. It's the language. The language is called Ge'ez or Ge'ez, and then they're using it in the Christian churches over there in Ethiopia. Okay, next. It's the last word. It's the last word of the episode. Wow! It's geezer. Noun from 1884. It is a queer, odd, or eccentric person. Used especially of elderly men. Oh, look at that man. That old man. He is so very queer and odd and eccentric. I don't think I would use these words. This is not how I think of the word geezer. Old, yes. But this says that they are queer, odd, or eccentric. And it's used of old men. You can't use it for old women? Why not? Yeah, I think I would just use geezer just for an old person, really. Look at that old geezer over there. Look at them walking their robot dog. What a geezer. That's so eccentric of them. Oh, I can't wait to be a geezer. Oh, I'm going to be such a geezer. So old, first of all, so old. And also so very queer, odd, or eccentric. One or all three, we'll see. Geezerhood. That's a noun. We needed that word? Geezerhood? I'm going to go down to the geezerhood. I'm living in my geezerhood times. Okay. This word is probably an alternative of the Scandinavian, I think that's Scandinavian word guiser, which is one in disguise. Oh, well, this word just got way more interesting. One in disguise is a geezer? I mean, it said it's probably an alternative of that. So, yeah, that's an alternative. That's a change. Whoa. That one, if you have any information, please let me know. I don't have time to look this up, but that is fascinating. I mean, I guess we could. Maybe I'll put this link in. What would see? Etim online. Let's go to that website and let's see if it has any additional information about this Scandinavian word, guiser. Let's see. A geezer, I got to click on it. The derisive word for an old man, 1885, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, a variant of obsolete Cockney word, guiser. Not Scandinavian. Cockney? Which means mummer, one wearing a mask or costume as part of a performance. That's the disguise part. If so, the original notion was one who went about in disguise. Hence, odd man. Hence, old man. Wait a minute. Why? Really? What? So, one who went about in disguise. One who was going about their day-to-day life in disguise. They are wearing a costume. They don't want people to know who they am. I think I should start doing this. So that became odd man. Oh, look at that man. He's always dressed in disguise. He is so odd. But so then was it like a mistranslation, a mishearing, a misspelling that got to old man? Because odd and old are so similar word-wise? And then we just started using it for old people. I don't know. Interesting. There's a chart. There's a trend chart. And this word was really not being used very much until basically 1970, 1980. We started to see a good uptick. And then really in like 1990, it just really started to shoot up after that. And now it's taken a little bit of a dip. In the last 7 years, it started to dip. We don't have the last 6 years of information here. But yeah, oh, geezer. You know, those young kids, the millennials and the alphas and the Ys, they're calling everybody geezers, so it's being used a lot. All right, let's finish this up. We have to pick a word of the episode. Today we had gearbox, gear change, gearhead, gearing, gear shift, gear up, gear wheel, geat, or Gayet. Gecko, GED, gedankenexperiment. G-G-G, Geek, Geeked, Geese, Gee-Whiz, G's, Giez, or Giez, and Geezer. I mean, there's a few that are really good. Obviously, if you have some preferences on what you think the word of the episode should be according to your own personal brain and mind and personality, then I would like you to tell me in whatever form you prefer to do that in. Geek is an interesting one. I definitely would call myself geeky and nerdy and in that world, but I don't have a thing. I don't have like a one thing. I just have a lot of things that I like. So I don't know if I'm a full geek in that way. I'm just geeky. I'm a geeky person. Although I am not biting the heads off of chickens and snakes or any other things for that matter. Unless they're made of chocolate. Ooh. And I'm also not a wild man, or sometimes I can be a wild man, I guess. But geezer, see, I had okay feelings about geezer, but then when I learned about the etymology, that really shot up in my book. What else? Gee whiz is a fun thing to say. G in general, gedankenexperiment. I really do enjoy a good gedankenexperiment, especially to say, I am going to do a gedankenexperiment right now. Let's just do that. Gedankenexperiment. You think real hard. You do a test in your head. Gedankenexperiment. That was fine. Yeah. All right. It's movie time. Let's talk about a movie time. Bugonia. That was the next movie on the list. It's going to take me so much longer to get through my movies now that I'm only doing 3 episodes a week. I just want to click away from this. Okay. Bugonia, made by Yorgos Lanthimos. If you know his movies, you can probably guess that this movie is interesting. That's all I want to say, really. Small cast. Interesting concept, interesting characters, worth a watch, I would say, just because I think it's good to just expand what you might be interested in and see what sort of art people out there are creating. Bugonia. Okay, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for checking out this show. I appreciate you. I am sorry that at the time of recording, Apple Podcasts still does not have my new episodes, and I'm very angry at them. But Spotify, I know, is good, and others. And, of course, you can check out this on YouTube. Just go and play them all. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.